Olson. Welcome to the Beverage Development presentation. Today we will talk about how to develop your beverage. No matter what beverage you have, we will go over examples for energy drinks, for water, for tea, for powders, for many different types of products, beer, alcohol, including tequila, vodka, and many other products. What will we cover today? Let's go over the agenda real quick. I want you to tell me a little bit about you. Then we're going to tell you a little bit about us. We're going to go over the beverage development process. We're going to go over costs and packages associated with beverage development and how we can help you with your beverage development project. We're also going to talk about, once you start a beverage development project with us, what to expect, where we're going to take you, how fast are you going to have your product, and how do we start your project, how do we work on your project, and how do we finish your project. So start to finish, we're going to go over project development. The first thing that we do when we start a package is we start with you. We want to know as much as we can about you, your idea, how you came up with the idea. We love talking with entrepreneurs and executives of existing companies of how they came up with these great ideas. We also own our own beverages and we develop our own beverages, but we know we can not have every single good idea, and this is why we love speaking with you on how you came about. What happened in your brain? Did you see something in the store that you liked or that you didn't like? What happened? Tell us about you. Tell us about your idea for a beverage project. It's also very important that you learn about your partners. In this case, we want to work with you. We want to be your partner. Now, what you should know about us, we are family-owned and family-operated. We've been working together for, actually it's no more than 10 years and have more than 40 years experience in product development, beverage development. But not only that, also sales and distribution, strategy and analysis in the industry. We are the largest full-service beverage development firm in the country. Our number one concern is that you are happy. And you should know that we started in this industry as distributors. Personally, myself, my name is Jorge Olson, and I am one of the founders of the company. And I started my career in software, doing consulting, process consulting, including the beverage industry. Before that, in the beverage industry, I actually started at 16 years old. So my beverage experience dates back when I was 16 years old. I was selling beverages in the border, the Mexican-U.S. border in San Diego, California. I had my 2 buckets of soda, and I was selling beverages in order to pay for my uniform, my tennis shoes, so that I could play basketball and go and join tournaments in basketball. We didn't have a lot of money or any money, and that way I could pay my own way and go play basketball, which I loved, and I still play basketball. I also sold coffee in another occasion. In a stoplight, actually, I stopped there. I had my coffee that I purchased, reblended, and then sold it to consumers so I could pay my way through. That's how I started in the beverage industry. I'm now considered the authority in the beverage industry in the U.S., and I do industry analysis for institutional investors. I do mentoring to beverage executives, and I work with small, medium, and large companies in many different projects, including Rockstar Energy, Hanson, Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, Dr. Pepper, Snapple, 5 Hour Energy, all the way to hundreds of startups. Enough about me. That's just so you know who you're speaking with and who's giving the presentation. Most of you already know me either by phone or read my book, Build Your Beverage Empire, or some other book. My goal in writing is to have 2 or 3 books per year. Now, you should know that we do many things in the beverage industry. yes, we do beverage development, but we also do beverage sales and distribution. We also do production management. We do consulting and mentoring of executives. This is important for you because when you choose a partner, you need to choose a partner that's going to sell your beverage. It's very easy to create a logo and stick it in a bottle and say, here's your product. But now, if we need to sell it, that means the development process starts with the sales process, not the other way around. When we develop a product, we know we're going to have to go out and sell it. So we take a very different approach in beverage development because we can't go out and say, listen, your beverage doesn't work. We can't sell it. Nobody likes it. And this is what happens, actually, when sometimes we sell beverages that we didn't develop. We have to go back to the entrepreneurs and say, well, the distributors don't like it. You didn't do it the right way. This was just a novelty product. It wasn't a real beverage development product. We don't want to do that to you. We don't want you to do that. So that's why we take that approach. We know that we're going to sell it, so we better make it right the first time. Learn a little bit about our team. You speak with some of us when you're engaged in our process. You don't speak with some of us. You will be assigned a project manager. You will be assigned a designer and a branding director. And then you will be assigned a formulator and a packaging and production manager. The people that will handle your project from the strategic standpoint will be these gentlemen over here, and I'm sure many of you know who they are because you spoke with them or you listened to them in conference calls, or maybe you read our books. This is me over here, and you'll learn more about these gentlemen. We have different project managers, different designers, different formulators, and more. We have also account managers, we have salespeople, and then we have brokers. But these people are full-time, only working for us. Now, the main guys, this is Eduardo Enciso. He's a senior brand manager and project director. This is Victor Enciso, and he takes care of everything related to branding. He's a brand director. By the way, we've been working together for 10 years. We started with the distribution company together, and we've designed together, the same team, more than 1,000 products. Now, these products, we didn't just design. We went out and we sold them. We were selling them with our own distribution channels, with our own trucks, and using third-party distributors to 17,000 accounts. And we sold programs, we sold products, we even did private label for companies like Target, companies like Walgreens, companies like Rite Aid, companies like Safeway. So they trusted us with their products. We hope you trust us with your product as well. And I already told you a little bit about myself also. I want to go over some examples of projects that we've done. Of course, they're not your project, but it's always good to see what other people are doing, how they're doing it, the ideas that they have. So let's go over some of the categories that we've worked on. These are the more general categories, not every single category. Water is one example. And for water, we've done everything that you see here, from full branding to exporting to Mexico, sourcing product from China. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be in China next month. Next month, sourcing a wonderful product to bring to the U.S. And we work with different types of projects, small, medium, and large. Of course, you recognize some of the large ones, some of the medium ones. Some of the social enterprises out there you'll recognize as well. We've done energy drinks, a lot of energy drinks. I worked in the energy drink space as an analyst as well. I do industry analysis for hedge funds, mutual funds, and institutional investors that want to invest on Henson's, which is Monster. They want to go over Rockstar Energy, the Coca-Cola portfolio, NOS, Full Throttle, and the others, the Pepsi-Cola portfolio, what Cadbury Schweppes is doing, what Dr. Pepper Snapple is doing, and how they influence their investments. So I like doing that, and I do that about every other week. And these are some of the examples that were worked on. Some of them development, some of them consulting, some of them advising. It depends on the project itself. For this one, for example, we exported to Mexico. This one we sold the rights in Mexico already. This one we export. This one I exported to Mexico as well, Rockstar. This one is owned by a publicly traded company that we work with as well. And 5 Hour I have under exclusivity for Mexico, and we have a partner that distributes it in Mexico. By the way, we're writing a book with the director of international of 5 Hour, Rob. You probably listened to some of the webinars. Stay tuned for one next week. Teas. Teas can be ready to drink tea or not. And we've done every type of tea that you can imagine, as you can see here, and any type of project that you see here we've done with tea. And some of the different types are showed here. This is not a ready to drink, but this is a very unusual, very original tea. We love original ideas. This is date tea, but it is from the seed of the date. It is a wonderful, unique idea. We've gone over unique selling propositions before. This is definitely a unique selling proposition. I love it. We've done juices as well. Again, you can see the type of juices that we've done. And these include some of the past and current projects that we have. And by the way, the juices, some of them are fresh and some are not. So some of them need to be refrigerated at the projects that we've worked on. We've also done sports, relaxation, sleep, recovery, probiotic, weight loss, and many different type of niche products for sleep, for male enhancement. This is the largest male enhancement company in the country. This is for sleep. This is for relaxation. This is for everything. It's a vitamin company. So these are niche products. We've done alcohol as well. Many different types of alcohol products. And you can see some examples here with beer. We've done, for Miller, we've worked in the U.S. and Mexico as well, tequila and mezcal, and we're developing this one at the moment, which is with Dennis Rodman, a bad boy vodka. Stay tuned for that one. Let's go quickly over some case studies. What's happening? Now again, this is something that's happening with other companies, and I want to use that as an example so you can see what's going to happen with your project. It's always good to see what other people are doing, how we're working with other people. This product is fully done, fully developed, and we're already selling it. We already have Walgreens interested in the product. And it's a tea. It's a tea with a unique selling proposition. Like I told you, I love unique selling propositions. I love working on products that are completely different out of the box, not just that taste better, but that are completely unique. And this one we develop, and of course we sell it. This one we develop, and it's a pill. So we don't just do beverage, we do nutraceuticals as well. This one of my favorite, My Cost Water, because Michael, the owner, is a social entrepreneur. Wonderful people. I love working with them. And they wanted to be social entrepreneurs. They wanted to donate. They wanted to give back. They wanted to find a way to produce business and also to help the community. And we decided to do a special bottle. This bottle is patented, and it is 1 liter and half a liter. We had to develop it from scratch. As you can see, it has some wonderful ripples that come from the back of the label that Victor was nice enough to design. It fits perfectly in the cooler. So it's a square bottle. Again, this is a custom bottle, custom everything. And the donations can be done locally. So we established a donation structure that we could actually get communities involved. So it's not just the Red Cross. It can be your community. If you have a fundraiser in your community, this water can help that specific community. So of course everybody in that community wants to drink this water because they're giving back to their immediate community. They can see it. It's not foreign. And this is one of the principles of charity. Charity historically in the United States has been by city, by community, what you can see. And then it started going global, but the strongest donations, 80% of donations done in the United States are still community-based, your church, your community, something you can see and touch. So it was a terrific idea. It was branded from the ground up, and the executives are executing the business plan beautifully. Vitamins are another example. This product is also in 7-Elevens, Walgreens, Jobbers, distributors, and all over the place. They got funding. We developed it from scratch, from idea to product formulation, everything that you can imagine. We even went and opened stores, and now we have national chains. Some examples of the product, they're sticks. Vitamin sticks. This is one of the founders, Dominique. This is him at the trade show. Oh, and of course, we take the brands to trade shows. We take them to national and international trade shows. Dominique and Rosbeth went with us to a trade show in Mexico, in Guadalajara, where they actually sat down with buyers, including some names that you could recognize like 7-Eleven or Walmart or Costco in Mexico, plus other national chains that only exist in Mexico. So we've gone to probably less than 10, 8, maybe 9 trade shows together to show the product, and we call about 5,000 distributors selling them this product in stores. Great success, not only in development, but also in sales and distribution. And remember, we develop products for sales and distribution. We don't just develop products that taste good. We need to develop products that sell. Now, this is an example of a product that came to us from another beverage development firm. This particular firm is in LA. We're in San Diego, California, and this is the product that they developed. We needed to sell it, and of course we needed to redevelop it because it wasn't working. The ingredients were too expensive and the product was out of market. Again, unfortunately for them, they didn't have to sell the product, so the product was no good. Once we saw it and we started asking distributors, they said, no, we're not, absolutely not carrying this product. We turned it into this product. This was the second, this was the first time, the first thing that we did. We went from this to this first. This was the final one. This is how we started, and we said, no, it's too, it was mixed. The product was being mixed up with a competitor on the shelf, so we said, no, we have to go this way. We started with this bottle. We ended up with this one. It is a patented bottle. We sourced it, we developed it, we designed it, including the flavors, including the formulation. It's a dumbbell, so you guessed it, it's made for the gym. It's made for people who exercise heavily, not just a little bit, but heavily. So noticing the market, noticing the distributors, noticing everything in the sales process, we came up with this as our final product. And these are some examples of sampling events that we did. We put it on the shelf. This is 7-Eleven. We put it in stores. You can see it here as well. This is just a sell sheet that we developed, an example of a sell sheet spec sheet. That's the one used for distributors. Now let's go over the project. You start with the beverage development project. What happens? Where do you start? Where do you end? A lot of people say, Jorge, it seems like a lot of work. I don't know how to start. I called some co-packers. I called the formulator. Remember, we are full service. In the package that I'm going to go over right now, we call it the full service VIP product development package. That means that we do everything, including mentoring, because we want you to be informed. We want you to increase your beverage intelligence. We have 5 steps. Strategy and preparation, that's number 1. Then we go branding, formulation, sales and distribution planning, and production management. And we'll go over them, don't worry, so you can see what they do. But remember these 5 steps. Now what we do is we put these 5 steps along with every other step that belongs to these steps. We put them in 20 steps. And we'll go over the 20 steps. Each step has different steps. So each one, like strategy and preparation, breaks down into 6 steps. You see here strategy and preparation. So you can notice the different steps. So you see it here, strategy and preparation. And you see it here, strategy and preparation. And then we go over the different steps. All of these steps are placed in a project management software so that we can track every single task, every single deliverable, every conversation, every email, every valuable piece of information about you, your product, your beverage. It's tracked so that you know where you are in your project, so that you know the tasks that we're working on, so that you know what's happening. Otherwise, you don't know what's happening. You don't know if we're done with formulation or branding or research, or we contacted a broker or a salesperson or a distributor. You don't know. That's why we have a web-based project development software that we developed just for you and your project, just for the industry. Now, we didn't just do that right now. Remember, we've been at this 10 years. And before that, remember our background. I was doing product development for large companies using software. So these same best practices that you use are the same best practices that I've used with Fortune companies in the past. I'm bringing the same know-how, the same style of project development to your project. Yes, your project is small in scale compared to those projects, but you still benefit from the know-how and you still benefit from the technology. I'm jumping ahead of myself now. I'm getting excited. Strategy and preparation. So we have your phone strategy session so that we know what we're dealing with, so that we can go over your vision. What do you want? What are your goals? What are your dreams? What do you want to do when you grow up? We're going to go over your target market. Who is going to buy this? And from your target market, we're going to reverse engineer your product. And we're going to do everything based on your target market, because remember, best-selling product, that's what we want. Not best tasting, not best looking, not best in the inventory in the warehouse that doesn't sell. We want best-selling. We're going to prepare for the project. You're going to meet the rest of the team that's going to work on your project as well, over the phone or maybe in person. A lot of people fly in for this strategy. About 30% of our clients fly into San Diego for the launch. We'll put your project in our software. We'll do our research, and for both wholesale and for retail, so that we know, we already know the consumer, right? Over here, the consumer. We also need to know who is the retailer, not just the consumer. We need to know who's the retailer. Right here, we need to know who's the wholesaler. So maybe you're targeting beverage distributors, like Miller Beer distributors. Maybe you're targeting convenience store or supermarket in mass. We'll go over all of that in strategy and preparation. What happens after strategy? Branding, one of my favorites. This is where unique selling proposition comes in, or part of it. It's also where we decide on your package. And this can be as simple as a can, or as simple as which bottle, or it can be more complicated than that because your niche is complicated. But what happens behind the scenes that you don't see is this. We do a lot of research to come up with our branding, not to mention the experience that we have. And remember, our experience is not just from what happened before. Our experience is built upon every single day, because we call, listen to this, we call more than 5,000 decision makers every single month. That's right. 5,000 decision makers, including beverage distributors, including buyers, including brokers, including store managers, buyers. And we ask them, When we're working on your project, we ask them, why do you think about this? Would you buy this? Is the trend to go with aluminum? Is the trend away from aluminum? If you're doing aluminum for your project, and we call 5,000 distributors, and they say to us, we will not buy the next year aluminum, guess what? We're going to come back to you and change it. How much is that worth? Oh my God, 5,000 decision makers we call, and we ask them about your product. And once your product is done, we call them and we sell your product. This is why it's so important. Most people start with this. And you don't start with this. This is number 3, and this is actually the number 1 mistake people make, starting with the formula. You do not start with the formula. You start with your target market. This is why we start with your target market, because your target market will tell you the formula and the ingredients that they want. The store will tell you the ingredients that they want, the price point that they want, the packaging that they want. This is why we call it reverse engineering, because we start at the finish line and then we go back. Number 1 mistake, don't forget. Don't make it. Sales and distribution planning. We need to develop a, you guessed it, best-selling product, not just a best-tasting product. This is why this step is so important, and I get involved with this step every time. Remember, you are creating this product to sell, not just to sip it with your friends and your family. If you're doing target market, you don't just do it with your friends and your family. You do it by testing it with distributors, retailers, and your target market. This is why the planning is so important. This is why we have to decide your package, the size, the pricing, the channel, everything based on sales and distribution. And remember, all of the steps are part of your project. This is the project management effort that involves a lot of people on our behalf and at least one person on your behalf. And you have mandatory meetings every week that you have to go in, because they're also mentoring meetings to increase your beverage IQ. And then we have other meetings that are more strategy meetings with myself, not just with your project manager, to go over your goals, not just your goals for formula or packaging. No, your goals as an entrepreneur or as a director or CEO of your company. Completely different. In production management, now we start going over your costing. We start going over your co-packing. We make sure that we do test runs and we test those beverages in supermarkets and retailers so that we know we have the right combination of everything, and that way you don't have to lose a lot of money or test a lot of money. We get calls from people who say, we have 20,000 cases, can you help us? It's too late. What happened to the development process? Well, I wanted to cut some corners, save a little bit of money. Really? Save a little bit of money and you went out and produced 20,000 cases? If you paid $10 a case, that's $200,000. So you wanted to cut a little corner, spend $200,000 in production, and now you're going to expire in the warehouse. Don't make those mistakes. Manage your production. Make sure that you call us so that we can help you manage your production and you can save some money. And test, test, test. What is the timeline that we use? We went over the 5 different things for planning. We want every project to last 3 months. Now, it can last more. It depends on you, really. It can be less. It only depends on you. We already have our timeline. Now, strategy and preparation is done the first month. Branding, packaging, it's done for 2 months. And the formulation is done by the 3rd month. It's finished. Sales and distribution planning, it's the 3rd month. And production is done, of course, when the product is done. In there, we also have some mentoring. And mentoring is usually done in the 3rd month as well, the mentoring that I give. And just so you know, the mentoring that I give is usually very, very expensive. It is more expensive than doing all of the project for your beverage. Yes, let me repeat that. My personal mentoring is more expensive than doing a full VIP, full service, all bells and whistles beverage development project, and I include it for free. Why do I do that? Because I want you to increase your beverage IQ. Once we're working together, we have to succeed. There's no other alternative. We have to succeed. And I don't mean succeed developing your product. I mean succeed selling your product. And if you're not informed, if you don't know the industry, your odds of succeeding diminish. That's why I do it and I include it in the package. How do you get started? A lot of people say, let's pretend we start tomorrow. What happens tomorrow? Well, tomorrow we have a kick-off strategy call or meeting. If you decide to come to San Diego, or I can go to you, or my team can go to you. It's usually 3 or 4 people that's starting your project. So we can go to you. We can fly all over the world. And we've done projects. And I've done projects in all over Mexico, Canada, the U.S. I've also worked and done projects in Germany, in France, in Spain, in the U.K., in Belgium, in Holland, in China, and Japan. Maybe more. Those are the ones that I can remember. You'll speak with the brand director, and you'll meet everybody, as you can see here. This is all about you and your goal, right here. Mandatory weekly calls. You have to be there. If you miss one, don't worry. We can reschedule it. But these are scheduled so that you don't miss it. It's not, I'll call you when I have time. We schedule them, and from 1 to 10 people might be in that call from our team. For sure, your project manager will be there. This is part of your mentoring process. It's not just for managing your formula or your artwork. It's so that you learn. Then you have to start approving. We'll start sending items, line items, deliverables, tasks to you. You have to review them, approve them, give feedback so that we can move the project forward. And then we finish and we start selling. It's very simple. It's very fast. It's full service. Some quotes from people that work with us. Remember, we work with a lot of people, a lot of projects. I've done a lot of mentoring. So I personally have worked not just in development, but also in analysis, mentoring, consulting with a lot of different executives in the U.S. and out of the U.S. as well. We also have conferences. Besides having your conference, we also have other conferences and other peer group conferences that you do with other executives so you can learn from them. And you can have these as part of your mentoring with your project manager. Sometimes you do it with me. With this particular package, you have at least 1 month of one of the large packages for mentoring with myself. And for email, we use software. In email, you lose a lot of information, and we don't want you to lose information. We want you to have everything easy and ready and available to you when you need it without doing a search. This is why everything will be in your project management software, and we have a ticketing system. So if you have an emergency or you need to speak with something or something happened, that you can create a ticket in our system and somebody's going to get it. Either your project manager, if your project manager is not there, the junior project manager will get it, or I will get it, or somebody else will get it. So we use technology to ensure that you get what you want and that you're happy. Now we're doing a special on beverage development, and we only do the specials when we have availability. That means we're not working at full potential with our packages. How it work? Well, our full service implementation is $30,000, and these are some of the line items that you see, some of the value that you get. Now, all of these line items are available individually, just so you know, all of them. So if you want wholesale research, you can get it. If you want just 1 month of this package, you can get it. And my packages go from $5,000 to $20,000 per month for mentoring and personal consulting. If you want something else, you can get it. If you just want branding, you can get just branding. But this is a special that we have where you're going to save a lot of money. Again, these are the 5 steps that convert into the 20 steps. As a recap, the cost of this, if you would do it separately, which is this, would be $94,000. This is why it's a deal. Because instead of paying $94,000, you pay $30,000. And that's the package that we have for full development. Don't spend $94,000. Go for the package. It's full service, and I guarantee you're going to save a lot of money just on the mentoring alone. Call the office. If you go to this website, you can call the office and have a free consultation with one of our project managers to learn more about what you need, what you want, and how we can help you create a best-selling product. This is the special that we have now. Again, we only have it because we have slots available. When we don't have slots available, we don't have it because then people pay full price, and we only have a certain amount of people, so we only take a certain amount of projects. And by the way, we take on the projects that we think are going to make it because we have to sell them afterwards, and we can't just create projects and products that are not going to sell. If we create projects that don't sell, our distributors will not answer our calls. If we present copycat products, our distributors will not answer our calls, or retailers will not answer our calls. Thank you very much for joining me. Call the office for questions. Call the office for follow-up. Call the office for the next webinar. Thank you. Now we have questions. If you have questions about development, if you have questions about something else, ask your questions with the chat. It will be in moderation, so don't worry about it. People will not listen to them if they're private. I will not list them if you're private. You can still ask them, and I will answer them. If I cannot answer them because they are extremely private, what I will do is I will refer you to somebody in the office, or we will schedule a call so I can answer them at another time privately, so that you don't have to go over the phone or over the internet with all of the other people. So we have some questions here. Let's get started. Which brands have you worked so far? We used them in the example. We've done a lot of brands. We went through some of them in the presentation. So I guess this question was from before we touched on the brands. And then same question, what brands have you worked with? And we've done, besides the brands that you saw there, we've done more than 1,000 individual projects. And we've also done projects on consulting, projects on analysis, sales and distribution, and many, many more. We have some of the examples on the website. You can go there and check the website to see. We have the case studies that you saw. We are writing them down so that you can get the case studies one by one. What's their target market? What was the process in developing it? Sales and distribution methodology, everything will be there, and you can get that from the office. And by the way, we're turning some of those case studies already into books. So stay tuned for a couple of books on case studies as well. Yes, we've worked with alcohol brands. You saw some of the examples there on on the seminar, we've worked with different tequilas, we've worked with mezcal, we've worked with different beers, including sales and distribution for Miller Beer, SAB Miller. We worked on, I worked with Miller Beer as a consultant, and I've worked with distributors, and I've also worked on exporting and selling Miller Beer in the U.S. I've worked with the C-level management of Miller Beer. I've also worked with microbreweries, developing microbrews and selling microbrews into Costco, on-premise, and other supermarkets. Vodka, we are just developing a vodka with Dennis Rodman, Bad Boy Vodka. We've sold vodka as well to on-premise in the United States. I'm sure I'm missing examples, but yes, the answer is yes. Alcohol, we've done alcohol. Okay, licensing for importing alcohol. Yes, you would have. That's a very niche question. You would have to call the office, and they'll help you with that in the office. It depends. We can help you, yes, but what you want depends on the size and depends on also the type of distributors that you want. Some of the importers can distribute. That was for alcohol, by the way. The question is, what is the amount or budget recommended after beverage development to make your project a success? Well, Max, it depends on how many stores you want. It depends on what is your target for sales, and it depends on how fast you want to get there. So if you provide those three things, I can give you a better answer, because the answer can be $5,000, it can be $5 million. And I've seen companies start with $5,000 and do well. I have seen companies start with $12 million, even $20 million, and fail. It depends on your goals. It depends how fast you want to reach those goals. It depends on your product as well. It's a healthy product. Well, healthy growth, there's no healthy growth. If you give me a number, like 5 million in 2 years, 5 million in 3 years for this type of product with so many stores, so that's the velocity per store, that would be the proper answer. Well, I need to know your product, because if you're far away from the case velocity per store, it's not going to work. If you think you're going to sell 20 cases per month per store of an energy drink in a convenience stores, you're not. So that we have to think outside the box. If you think you're going to do it in alcohol, you're not either. So we need to think outside the box with that as well. Let's see. GS1, is it the best for UPCs? I think so. The person to answer that would probably be my director of branding, Victor. But in my opinion, yes. Okay. Healthy growth, it depends. Okay, Max, I need more information, a lot more information than just the sales. I need type of product, velocity in the stores as well, and then the budget for marketing to see if you're going to reach the velocity, so that I can tell you if it's realistic or not. Yeah, call the office. That's the best thing. I don't want you giving away all the information online. Sometimes it's just best to do it privately. But that's a good question. A lot of people just ask about an ingredient. A lot of people ask about a flavor. A lot of people ask about, is it better to use a can, or is it better to use a bottle? Max has the right idea. How much money do I need to sell? What do I need to do to sell? That's absolutely the question that you need to be asking, because you will backtrack from that into what's your positioning. What's your sales strategy? What's your distribution strategy? What are the type of distributors that you're going to hit? If you do that afterward, you will fail. You will not be ready. Now you're just saying, hey, I have this. Let's try to sell it, without knowing what the buyers are thinking. And sometimes just by calling the office and having a conversation with one of our product managers, listen, these guys are there the whole day calling, speaking with distributors, doing deals. They know what distributors want. They know what consumers want. They know what wholesalers, what retailers, what mass, what convenience want. That's what we do every day, the whole day. Call them, speak with them. They're going to save you a lot of time. Sometimes, instead of opening Google and doing a search on the product, I just call the office and I speak with one of my guys and say, or I go down and sit down with them for half an hour and get a clear idea of where the market is going. Sometimes I do it before a strategy call, or if I'm advising an investor, I can get up to the minute details from calls that were made today. And that helps a lot. It helps for analysis. It helps for beverage development as well. Josh, it's not. He's asking if the iced coffee market is saturated. It depends. I don't think so. I've seen new products make it in different places, but remember, it's always your strategy. Are you going to sell it in cafes? Are you going to sell it in convenience stores? Are you going to sell it at delis? Are you going to sell it in supermarkets? Are you going to sell it in natural stores? Let's go after the channel that is not saturated. Some channels are saturated, some channels are not. Some channels require you to have a lot of funding, some channels do not. And there's a lot of channels, multi-level, direct sales, food service. There's many channels, not just the one you're thinking of, which is retail. So think of the whole thing. Think of the big picture, not just retail or not just convenience stores. Think of how you're going to sell it in that channel, how you're going to position it to be different from the other iced coffees. What's your unique selling proposition? Is it a unique product that you imported from the Amazon? If you don't have a unique selling proposition, call the office. Get a unique selling proposition. If you missed our unique selling proposition webinar, oh my God, you need to listen to that webinar, because you're going to save probably a whole investment by having the right unique selling proposition. And it's free. Just call the office and get it. It's free. It's just an hour of your time. I can't return your hour, but if you paid for it, I'm sure I can return your money, because that hour is going to be awesome. You're going to call me. You're going to tell me, Jorge, you're right. It was awesome. So Josh, make sure you listen to that webinar. You're welcome, Max. And Josh, don't settle in for that channel yet. Until you know how much money you need for that channel, don't settle on it, because it can surprise you. So unless you have a rich uncle, explore different avenues for the C-store grocery channel, because there you're hitting mass and convenience. That means that you need the biggest distributors with the biggest budgets. So each market is going to cost you a lot. Each store is going to go $250, $300. So that means a small town is going to cost you $300,000 just to get into the stores. So remember, this is where you plan. How much is it to get into convenience? How much does it cost you per store? If you missed that webinar, go back and listen to that webinar about how do you position your product to that channel. And the webinar is called, Is Your Product Ready for Retail? And how much does it cost you for retail? And by the way, Max, some of your questions may be answered in the webinar as well, because it goes step by step, cost by cost. How much do you need to support a distributor? How much do you need to support a retailer? How many cases you need to sell per retailer to remain in that store? How many cases you need to sell? I mean, how much does it cost to get into the store in money and product and POS, in commission, in contest, everything that you need to know, and sometimes that you thought you didn't need to know are all covered there. That's a lot of info that's covered, so make sure you go back and you listen to it. If you have independent Coke distributors lined up, that's awesome. That's going to cure a lot of your ails. but it is not the complete answer because Coke also kicks out brands. And as a matter of fact, I was talking to a gentleman the other day that's also developing a product with us that told me about the brands that were kicked out by Coke in their territories because they didn't have the right strategy. So make sure you have the right strategy. Make sure that you know how you're going to support the brands in the store. That's very important, especially if you have Coke, because that's going to be double for support. Remember, Coke distributors are order takers. They will not open a single account. So you're going to have to hire people in those locations to go and open stores for Coke. So then you have to budget in both in-store promotion and advertising and salespeople that go around and open accounts. And in that presentation, Josh, I said, and the distribution is easy. Getting the distributor is the easiest part. Keeping an account and making sure that a consumer buys at least one can per week, that's the hard part. The distributor is the easy part. Selling off the shelf is the hard part. Getting to the store is the hard part. Getting more shelf space is the hard part. That webinar will explain how to do all of that and how to leverage distributors. Not necessarily Coke. If you want to learn how to leverage Coke as a distributor, then you probably need to speak with me privately, not just anybody in the office, but with me privately, because that's more of a niche product. I don't see any more questions. If you have questions, shoot them, because I'm going to stay here until they're answered. If you don't have any more questions, I can go over, while you think about questions, the most asked questions, because you need to ask them and you need to know them. Don't miss the other webinars. Next webinar is going to be, we're going to have our guest speaker that everybody asked about, which is Rob from 5 Hour Energy. Everybody wants to speak with Rob. Everybody wants to know how 5 Hour went to $1 billion brand in only 6 years. So he'll be in. I will not. I have a meeting in New York. If you're in New York, let us know. Maybe we can meet. But a lot of it will be in the call around, with Rob for next week. Let me see. Josh, we can go over all of that. I'm not sure if you mean a speaking engagement, like a keynote, or something else. Call the office and you can speak with somebody. They're not going to charge you to speak with you. We give a lot. If it's not a fit, we don't take the project, and we don't want you to take the project. So we only take projects that are a fit. We don't charge you to talk on the phone. We want to explore the best possible projects because, like I said, we develop projects. We have our own portfolio. We know we don't have every good idea, and this is why we look for entrepreneurs like yourself and other entrepreneurs so that we can work together, leverage each other, and if it's a good fit, we take a project. If it's a good fit, you take the project. If you think you're going to grow more and be more successful on your own, then you have to do that. If we think we're going to grow more and be more successful on our own, then we have to do that as well. Collaboration will lead to success. That's the way we think. That's the way we find projects. That's the way we find and launch brands. This is the way we do everything. This is the way we write books, like the book I'm writing with Rob from 5 Hour. I think I can do better with him. He thinks he can do better with me, so we do it together. Okay, everybody. Oh, more questions. Yes, we do consulting for other things, not just beverages. And yes, the webinars are free when you join them live. The webinars are sold afterwards, but you have a way of also getting them for free after they are recorded. So we record all of the webinars. This webinar was recorded, and you can get it for free. We didn't go over a lot of formulas here, but in the other webinars, we go over formulas. We go over the formula of investment into your brand for retail, which some people have had those questions, so that's very important for them. So you can pause it, you can go back, play it again. That's why we make it available for video. Now, those videos will be for sale at Amazon.com, but for now, there's a way that you can get them for free. The only thing that we ask, so you can get them for free, they're going to be sold for $20 to $40 depending on the webinar, but get them for free just by writing a review of the book, Build Your Beverage Empire on Amazon. You send the review to the website, liquidbranchmanagement.com, and then you'll get a link so you can download. You'll get an email on this, but yes, they are available for free. We'll do that for you. If in return you can help us out with the book review, we would really appreciate it, and then we give you a $40 product for free for that. And by the way, if you haven't read the book, we also placed it at $2.99. Yes, $2.99. And again, we don't make any money at $2.99, but we think it's good information. It's good. We think that it's information that everybody needs. Amazon did not let us put it for free. Amazon did not let us put it for $1.99 or 99 cents, so we had to do it for $2.99. So that was the lowest that Amazon allowed us to do on the Kindle. So it is $2.99 for Build Your Beverage Empire. If you're planning on launching, selling, or doing anything in the industry, it's a must-read. It's just like this, like the webinar series, they're a must. You have to go through them. You're going to learn something. One thing that you learn can save you money, and I bet you'll learn different things. So we'll send you an email on how to do that from the office, or you can just do it and tell them through Liquid Branch Management that you did it, so they can send you the link. So we've done, other than beverages, yes, we've done many different products and many different projects, but they are all consumer packaged goods. We've done nutraceuticals, we've done shots, all types of shots. We've done powder, vitamins, focus, vitamin C. We've done different food products. We've sold more than 2,000 different types of products. We've owned distribution companies that we sold different products as well. We've owned our own trucks in the past. We've done housewares. We've done novelties. We've done many different products from scratch. Our own brands, private label brands for supermarkets, and brands for investors, hedge funds, and also entrepreneurs. We've been featured on Forbes.com. We've been featured on Entrepreneur.com. We've been featured on Black Entrepreneur. We've been featured on Success Magazine. I got a 2-page spread myself on Brand Week, which is the ultimate for people who are in the branding industry like myself. So that was great, a 2-page spread. I've been on several radio shows talking about marketing, self-marketing, branding, product branding, etc. And so not just beverage. Remember, if you think of something that we missed or that you missed or you have more questions, you can ask them in the next webinar, or you can simply call the office. We also have in this website that you see here a lot of blogs, a lot of articles, and hours and hours of recordings that we've done over the last 10 years on how to sell to convenience stores, how to sell to 7-Eleven, how to sell to Budweiser, how to sell to Walmart, everything that you can imagine. We've done some type of free information. All of that information is free. It's part of the educational system that we use. We hope that you do the same and you educate and you mentor. Thank you very much for joining me today. I know your time is valuable, and I really appreciate that you spent it with me. Thank you much. Until next time.